Hey there, MRA, my Real Africanists. This is Maria Juve, the Real Africanists, and welcome to my channel. If you have been here before, thank you for coming back. If this is your first time here, I appreciate you watching. On this channel, I talk about African history, the field of African studies, and current African affairs, right? So I just wanted to hop on here for a minute and to say that I am so disgusted and I am so sick and tired of hearing about African migrants losing their lives trying to cross in over into other countries, right? So it is being reported and images are being shown of Ethiopian migrants being shot and killed by Saudi Arabia border patrolmen, right? This is a really tragic situation because this has been going on for some time now, and a number of the people that are being killed are women and children, right? And men as well, innocent men as well, right? So most of these migrants are crossing over into these countries looking for better qualities of life, better job opportunities, I guess, better, social conditions, better housing, just better opportunities. However, the fact of the matter is that they are trading one bad situation for another, right? Because some of the migrants are saying, or some of the reporters have been reporting that many of the migrants are leaving because, again, they just don't have the opportunities in their countries, and also because of the conflicts that is still going on in Ethiopia, right? Now, I was watching a video where one young man, he expressed some similar sentiments about why he and his family left, but he was one of the victims of the shootings that took place at the border. He said that, he was shot in the leg. He actually lost his legs. He talked about a number of his family members that were killed, by Saudi Arabia border troops. He talked about how some of them were shot and killed at point blank range, how some of them were taken to detention centers and were beaten mercilessly, right? It is just a real sad situation. I don't know the solution to this problem, but I'm hoping that they find a solution soon, right? If you have watched my channel before, you might remember that I did a video on the Ethiopian government sending thousands of Ethiopian women to Saudi Arabia to work in domestic roles, right? I did that video maybe about 4 or 5 months ago, and I talked about how I really disagreed with that decision. And the reason why I disagreed was because of the stories that come out of these Middle Eastern countries, right? There's stories about how women are sexually assaulted, how they are exploited, right? How they work these long and strenuous hours, sometimes without even getting paid properly. They talk about how they are degraded and just mistreated, right, all the time. So I didn't understand why the Ethiopian government would even consider sending Ethiopian women to these Middle Eastern countries, right? Now, I know that, some people disagree with me on that because they say that they need the opportunities. But the fact of the matter is, the grass is not greener on the other side. And again, you'll just be trading one form of misery for another. And there has never really been a good relationship between Africans and Arabs, Arab countries in the Middle East. I mean, this goes back centuries, with the the East African slave trade, with the fact that African men were castrated, women were, like I say, sexually exploited, sexually assaulted, their labor was exploited. And from what I can tell, the situation really has not improved over the course of time. I mean, there's still stories, again, coming out of these Middle Eastern countries about slavery and about how, workers are exploited there. Now, to be fair, from my understanding, there is a lot of migrant work in Saudi Arabia, and the Saudi Arabian government employs a lot of migrant workers, right? I hear in the construction field as well, again, as in domestic positions. But I will say this, and I will say this again: African people are not the servants of the world. Why do we always have to go to other countries and do work in a servant capacity in these menial and low paying jobs, right? You never hear of the opposite taking place. You never hear of migrants coming into Africa seeking work, right? As a matter of fact, like I said on the video that I just did, maybe a few weeks ago, where I talked about how the British Parliament shot down the agreement for Rwanda to accept migrants into their country, right? I forget the program that they were doing, but it was sort of like a registration program or something like that. But they shot down that program, and many of them talked about how African countries were not equipped to receive migrants, and how the countries weren't safe, and all of the derogatory rhetoric that always comes out of these European and again, Arab countries about Africa. I can't say it enough that we are not respected, as people around the world, and our people are not, by governments around the world, and our people are not respected, right? And so we have to start respecting our own people and not put them in positions that make them have to seek employment outside of their countries, right? So, we see a lot of movement on the continent, and we see a lot of things happening. So I'm just looking forward to the day where our African brothers and sisters no longer have to leave their countries in order to have a stable and good living condition, right? So I just wanted to say something about that, and to say that I stand with Ethiopia. My heart and prayers are with those who lost family members and who were killed on the Yemen border. And again, I look forward to the day when I no longer hear these type of stories happening. So again, I am Maria Juve, the Real Africanists. On my channel, I talk about African history, the field of African studies, and current African affairs. I also talk about Africa for real, because I do the research to give you commentary on historical facts and everyday happenings. I do the research to put it in context and make you really understand what's happening, right? So don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you got some value out of the content, right? And make sure, again, that you subscribe so we can try to get those subscriptions up, and I can continue to bring you information about Africa that can benefit you, right? So always remember to fight the power. Also, when you're studying about Africa and African affairs, always go deeper, because there's always more than what meets the eye. And also, never forget the ancestors. So I talk to you soon. Peace.